The Manson family, a cult you've probably heard of hundreds of times, but do you know the actual crimes behind the things that you've heard? I'm Louise, this is the Enigma Within. I talk about true crime, creepy stories and the paranormal, and today we're talking about Charles Manson and the horrendous things that family did. Charles Manson's early childhood was very, very troublesome to begin with. He would commit crimes, mainly stealing cars and like petty crimes. There was a point where he escaped from juvie, and at 16 he was arrested for stealing a car. That ended with him in prison. While in prison in 1952, it was reported that he had raped another inmate at knife point. In 1954, there was like, go on, get on your way, it's fine. So he was allowed out of prison at that point, and he continued to commit crimes, mainly stealing cars, and from 1956 to 1958, he was imprisoned. After being paroled, he started to pimp out people, and in 1960, he was sentenced to 10 years in prison for violating probation on an earlier charge for forging checks. He did not serve those 10 years in prison, he served 7 years in prison. Once he was released, he moved to San Francisco, where he began to gain a lot of followers. In this sort of time period, it was that very boho sort of youth culture, and he gained some followers who were all kind of hanging out, and this is when he decided to name it The Family. Manson would preach of an oncoming race war, so quite literally like that racist idea that white people and black people are going to have a war between them is what he was preaching to people, and he named this Helter Skelter after the Beatles song. The family then relocated to LA, where Manson became friends with the Beach Boys. So for a time, the family lived with Wilson, so one of the people in the Beach Boys, but he eventually moved out because Wilson began to become a bit weary of Manson. And this is when they relocated to the ranch that they lived on, which was a rundown film set. So the first murder we're going to talk about is Sharon Tate. So if you do not know, Sharon Tate is a famous movie star who was murdered by the Manson family. Sharon Tate's murder is horrific. There were 4 people in the house. 2 of them were close friends of Sharon Tate and her husband, and the family were following orders from Manson to kill everybody there as gruesomely as you can. Sharon's friends were in the home. They were shot and stabbed repeatedly. Like, I'm not talking just like once or twice, I'm talking 60, 70 times they were shot and stabbed. While they were doing this to the friends that were there, Sharon was pleading, please don't kill me, I'm a month away from giving birth. She was 8 months pregnant when she was murdered. It is wrenching to learn about, and she was stabbed 16 times. The first time that she was stabbed was directly in the stomach. Sharon would have known that her baby was going to die that day, and that's horrendous, I think. The murder just created a really, really big panic in LA. The Manson family honestly have shocked people for years, and I completely understand why. There is so much more that I have not talked about that I cannot fit into a short video. Let me know if you'd like a longer video on this. If you enjoy this type of content, leave a like, follow, comment, all of that sort of stuff. It really, really does help me out.